Okay, welcome to the First Nations Family Advocate Office. This is our beading group. Sorry, you can hear my daughter in the background. But like or subscribe to our YouTube channel under the First Nations Family Advocate Office. Stephanie Sinclair, she's going to be showing us a beading tutorial and finishing up her freestyle stitching of her pretty flower, and she's going to be filling in those lines today.
So take it away, Stephanie. Oh, you're muted. Sorry. I think you're muted.
I believe it was like 2 weeks ago that we had started this and just flat stitching around the flower that we had. I had mine printed out. Some people drew theirs out. So we're going to fill it today. And as you can see, I ended in the back right there. And right where I ended, I'm going to come right back up inside the petal of that flower so that I can start filling it with some beads. So I'm just going to come up inside the flower. And some people, they like to do lines. Some people like to go around. It all depends on what you like and how you like to fill your beadwork. For me personally, I like to go around. So I'm going to add my orange beads. I think I'll do some orange and a little bit of yellow closer to the middle of the flower. Pick up so good. I should have put beads on my my thread while we're waiting. What I'm gonna do? Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say?
I watched this really cool video about somebody beading, and they had like this little spinny jar, and so they just had to spin the little wheel, and then their needle filled up with beads.
That's what I was saying. Sometimes I like beading right off the hank because you can have your hank of beads and you can just grab like right off the string. Like say if I was to bead off of a hank, I would just take the hank like this and I would put my needle through. You could just put your needle through like this and you can pull it right off the hank. So that is a good thing for when you buy hanks. You don't have to take it all apart. You could just leave it in a hank and just bead right off. So I have some orange beads there. Now I'm going to tack down my orange beads using my other thread. So this is my double thread that I have here still. And this is my other thread that only has one. It's not doubled. So I'm just going to hold that in place, just like we did to add the petals. And like I said, I always tack down my very first bead by itself. That way it stays nice and tight in the middle. You don't want to put your beads too tight close together because then they'll start to look really crowded. You don't want to crowd your beads because then they'll start to pop up. Oh, who's got a nice purple mat? Oh, nice. They come in really handy.
I'm quiet because I'm playing catch up here.
Oh,
My cat was chewing at my string, and yeah. So
let's try fit these in here. I can see that there's like one that looks like it's really tight right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it out so that I can space these out nicely. I don't want them to be crowded. I'm just going to take off 2 beads. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did last time with when we were doing the petals. I'm just going to stick my needle in there so that I can hold those beads down a little bit better right now. So that way I can push them into place and where I want them to be sitting.
So what are you gonna put this flower on after, Stephanie?
Even though this is just a piece to show, I don't know, maybe I might make it a pop socket or something. Since it's just I wasn't planning on making a second one. So yeah, I'll probably make it a pop socket.
Cool.
I could tell by looking at my beads here that two seed beads would fit in the middle right there. So that I'm going to go around like that one more time, and it'll fit here and then it'll fit on the other side. So I'm going to add a couple yellow on this side and a couple yellow at the end. And then when I do the middle, I'll do a little bit of a longer yellow just to see how that looks. For some reason, I see it in my head. I'm not sure how it's going to actually look.
Well, while there's a lull in the conversation, I'll just let everybody know that you can find the First Nations Family Advocate Office on our various social media platforms. On Twitter, we are FNFAOMB. On Facebook, we are First Nations Family Advocate. On Instagram, we are FNFAO. And on our new TikTok, we are also FNFAO. And you can then also go to YouTube, and you can find all of our previous videos, and you can like and subscribe to the channel. And you can also take a look at the playlists that we have set up for both beading as medicine and for food as medicine. and you can binge watch all the previous episodes.
I think it would be nice to even go and try some of the recipes that were for food as medicine. I had tried the mac and cheese, and it was so good.
Oh, I wanted to try that one.
Yeah, it was really good. I'm just seeing how many beads will fit in here. Maybe one more big orange one. A couple of yellow. Okay, I'll tack this second row down inside the petal. Sorry if I'm out of view a little bit there. Was anybody having problems with the flat? And she kept going, was doing grid work. She kept going. I find when you're filling and you're doing flowers, the hardest part is just trying to keep it that little rounded spot there. I think that's why sometimes people do lines, because it's a lot easier. And you know that they're going to fit. I probably could have added two more orange there. I'm going to add 2 small orange beads. Right in the middle, right where that little rounded spot is, I'm going to tack it right down in the middle, like I'm going 1 bead, tacking them down 1 bead at a time, right at that rounded spot there, just so that they stay sitting nicely. And they don't
That
bulge up.
vinyl that you shared with the group, did you buy that from like an Instagram page, or was that
Facebook page?
a Facebook page? Okay.
Yeah, there's a lady, I forget, it was Thunderbird Woman Creations. She was supposed to open up a store on Sagkeeng Avenue across from Bin Circle. Due to COVID, she wasn't able to open her store because she wasn't able to have her clients socially distance properly if she was to open her store because it was small. So she sells her stuff online now.
Did she end up keeping her place there, or is she just doing it from home now?
I think she's just doing it from home right now. Her name is Aileen Brandon. And her and her sister have a Facebook page on Facebook, and they do a lot of auctions with the beads. With why I won that backing was that they were auctioning stuff off, and I had just commented, and I was trying to win that backing. I didn't end up winning it, but they ended up messaging me after, and they asked me if I was interested in purchasing some, because they had they had some extras. So I was like, sure, of course. Okay, so I see that I'm probably gonna fit maybe one row. If that, I might have to, it looks like I might have to lay some beads sideways. Sometimes you might have to lay some beads sideways depending on what you're making and how much room there is. These threads are a little tangled here. I'll see what I did here. I have this really loose piece of thread, and it's just something that I did before. So it's, when I see that, it's probably up here somewhere in this part of the beadwork. But I usually just, if you find something like, they just leave it. And then after, I'll glue it down with everything else so it doesn't move. I'm just going to see what fits in there. Might be a row going, one row going up, one row going sideways. Might be. So I'm just coming up right in the middle. I was hoping that they would fit nicely inside there. Next time I know to make my flower a little bigger. Fat beads, skinny beads. I need 3 orange skinny beads to fit in that little row. So I'm just going to tack it at the top. So see how there's kind of a little bit of room there? I'm just going to push the beads on the other side. Use fading. Oops. Okay, so see how I have this little gap here? What I'm just gonna do is I'm gonna put some beads and I'm gonna lay sideways there. They're not gonna stick the same way that these ones do. That's usually what beaders will do when they notice that there's a gap. So I'm just gonna come up in between here. Right where I think a bead will fit. So I'm gonna come up right about there. And I think a yellow bead would look best right there. So I'm gonna put a yellow bead.
And it's a good day for beading too. It's all gray.
Oh,
Oh, and it's a good day to stay in and find something to do.
I started, what is it called? Applique. I started to like, I'm gonna make a teepee out of these colors. I'm so excited. It's like I've been watching because I deleted Facebook and all those other things. And so I'm gonna be like cutting out like little pieces and then sewing them on to the teepee eventually. I've been watching tutorials on like powwows.com of this guy doing it, and it's so cool. And I'm gonna make one in red, and then you just sew them all on top of each other. Can't really see that, but I'm excited.
That's a lot of work.
Pardon?
That's a lot of work. So I finished
It
that.
is. Pardon?
I finished that one petal.
Yeah. I go through weird moods where I'm like, okay, I want to bead, and then it turns into sewing, and then it turns into painting.
I think I should have used lots of different colors on there. This what I do is I just bead just to show people, and then I end up not liking what I've beaded myself, and then it just gets tossed in the pile. I was kind of looking forward to doing the strawberries tonight too, but lucky thing, because the thing is, he said it's like so bad and lagging.
Yeah, and I'm sure the other girls would have loved to learn too, but I guess we could always watch the YouTube videos as well.
That's how I learned, was that on YouTube, was because, like I said, with the brick stitch and stuff, we'll have to learn to increase and decrease with brick stitching. And sometimes it can be a little confusing. And I know that last time we did brick stitch, it was a lot of confusion.
Was that with the fringe earrings?
Yeah, with
Yeah.
the fringe ones.
Yeah. I really like that one though. It really, I think I made about 4 earrings. Yeah, 4 pairs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everybody always loves the old style.
Well, it's good to learn all these different techniques.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like I've done like what you're doing on moccasins and like a pair of mitts, but I only used one thread. So I like how you're using 2 threads and it looks really neat
Mm-hmm.
compared to what mine looks like.
As I always say, this one here is for tacking. The one that holds the beads is only for tension.
Yeah, I made of myself like work even harder than I really needed to, and it looked really terrible. I'm like, ah, this is so much easier.
Yeah.
My hubby just poked his head in the room and I shook my head no. He's gone. It's funny because like how I said I haven't beaded in like, I probably haven't beaded in probably a good year almost. Oh, I'd have to say maybe 6 months until we started the beading as medicine. And I find that this is the only time that I bead now. And for some reason, I look forward to it every Thursday. Well, not for some reason, I know the reason why, but I know why I look forward to it. But I find that even during the week, I'm like, I should go and bead. And I'm like, no, I'll wait till Thursday.
You don't want to get ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, I think that's it too. But I could also bead something else too. But I'm like, nah, I'll just wait until we complete our project.
Well, one of the nice things about beading as medicine is that it does give a social aspect to it.
Yeah.
Because people during the pandemic have been cut off from each other for so long, and this gives a small indication of, you know, going back to normal a little bit.
You remember me and my niece, we used to always say, let's bead something tonight. And then like she just lived down the street and she'd be able to come over and bring her beads, or we would just use my stuff and she would just come over and we'd bead together.
Nice.
That with other people, just sitting around and beading your own thing.
It's a good thing to do.
And I remember me and her, like, it was like to the point where she would say, I'm going to make earrings and I'm going to use these colors. And I'm like, those don't go together. And I remember she used to say, well, I think they do. And I'd be like, go ahead. And she'd end up making them and she'd be like, I don't really like them. Sometimes she ended up really liking them, or sometimes she didn't. I remember the very first time I beaded, my mom had gave me some beads she had, and she was like, I'm never going to use them. And I never beaded before either. And then my niece came over one day and she's like, Auntie, she was like, I bought these earrings off some girl, and she was like, I don't really like the color of them. She was like, but I like the style of them. And she was like, can you remake them for me? And then I was like, I'll try. And she gave me the pair of earrings. And that's when I went on YouTube and I just Googled those fringe earrings. And then that's when I started making those fringe earrings. It was when I made my niece that pair that she had bought from somebody else.
Nice.
And I just went and changed all the colors in the earring. That's why people are like, can you do this for me? I'm like, maybe if you show me, you show me what you're meaning. So I showed a few of the ladies at work that I won something on a raffle that I did with my friend. She was only asking for $5 a spot, and I bought 4 spots, and I ended up winning a nice hat. I'll show it to you guys.
And while we're waiting for Stephanie to come back, I will say that you can still you can look for us on YouTube. Just to remind you, just search for the First Nations Family Advocate Office, and you'll be able to find us that way.
Awesome. So this is the hat that I won. I've never made one myself, but I was like, ever cool.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, this might be the same idea as to do like a grad cap. I would think it would be the same idea.
Yes, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was watching a tutorial on those too. Yeah.
So the one thing too, I never knew how to, you know how people bead on the top of their caps like that? I realized what they do. I finally realized it. They bead on Pellon.
Oh.
Like this big thick piece.
Yeah, yeah.
They'll take a measurement of this whole cap like that, and they'll bead it all. And then after they're done, they'll put it on there, and then they'll bead the thing here to hold it on. And then they'll bead this edge with the Pellon like that to hold the Pellon on. I was like, wow, when I actually seen somebody do it, it's neat. And it does take a lot of work because like I've never even made one of these before. I'm like, cool, I always wanted one, but I never ever made one. But yeah, like grad caps and baseball caps, those seem to be around the same thing to make them. And I just was so happy to get one so that I can actually see one.
Right.
Because I'm always a visual learner, right? I find that I need, if somebody asks me to make something, I'm like, what does it look like? Can you show me?
Yeah, when I beaded a shirt, it took a long time as well because I did the collar and the cuffs. And then I watched like a tutorial on like beading a cap or something, but he used tape as a line because I tried using the chalk line and that would just fade away. And so I think the tape idea is a great idea because it's always going to stay there.
Even also they have fabric pens at the fabric store that just fade away within time. I wonder if that might help as well.
Sorry, what was that? I didn't hear.
Fabric tape. I mean, like fabric pens. Like they have pens that you can write on fabric and then it'll just go away within time.
Yeah, that's what I was. Well, it was a fabric chalk pencil, but not a pen. So maybe that would be better.
Yeah, because I buy those for fabric when I'm sewing. That might help too. I was just thinking about I wonder if the glue the tape gets to be sticky after a while, being on such like, you know, because grad caps are like silk, right? But
Yeah,
I guess that's what a lot of people use, so it must work well.
He used masking tape, so that would definitely lose its stickiness. But I guess you could always like redo it. But I don't know. I think I'm gonna try it for
painter's tape.
Yeah, that would work.
Is really easy and soft. Oh, let's see. Probably about 4 beads. Do any of you guys have MTS cable? I'm just all the cable channels that I'm looking for that I used to have on show. I don't have them anymore. I'm wondering, like, what channel is this on MTS cable?
Oh,
I'm like, where can I find the show on MTS cable? What channel?
Well, if you have one of those new remotes, you can actually just hit the button and talk into the microphone, into the remote.
Oh, that's what my hubby was saying. He was like, there's a microphone on that remote. Can't you see it? I was like, no. Must be blind. Because it was like 5 high-speed internet. And I was like, I don't like this internet. And I don't like this cable. I think because we've had Shaw for like the past like 25 years.
getting there, getting there, getting there. Oh,
Are you beating a flower? Oh, yes. Oh,
yeah,
yes.
trying.
My niece taught me how to sew. And when I was sewing, she used to tell me, I don't drive. Hey, I don't have a vehicle. I have like my license, but I don't drive. And then I remember it was like probably like 10 years ago. She was like, Auntie, it's just like driving. And my hubby looks at her and he's like, your auntie doesn't drive. How does she know about pressing the pedal, about how fast to go when you're sewing and stuff like that? And my hubby's like, your auntie doesn't even drive. How is she supposed to know? And where was I going with this? Oh, now after a while, when she started beading, she used to always tell me, practice makes perfect. When I would tell her, this is not working out, and I'd be so mad. And she'd be like, practice makes perfect. And then she wanted to learn how to bead. And she'd call me, she was just mad. I made a mistake and I don't know how to fix it. And I would tell her, practice makes perfect. Just keep trying. It'll come together.
Getting tangled up here. Oh.
Sarah, why don't you talk about some of the programs and workshops that are available at FNFAO?
Sure, sounds great. Okay, I've got like this little blurb on my face. So some of the programs we have at our office is me and another Karen at our office. We do women's wellness. And for that one, we go over, like for an example, this week, we went over some ways of thinking positively during the COVID lockdown. Like, what are you thankful for? And like an example I did was I get to stay at home more with my daughters and not be so rushing in the morning. And then another thing we asked was like a goal for the summer. So just to try to get out of that negative mindset of COVID. And I think like another huge one is like you get to be and stay at home more now. Some of the other programming we have at our office is traditional parenting, which is a 4-week course. And that is run by Lana McKay and Noella Viner. And they just go over the different life stages of the baby to teen and just like the different nurturing ways you can love your kids and a whole bunch of more information. And then they have a women's sharing circle on Thursdays where You just basically share whatever is bothering you, and they might do a teaching in that one. We have rites of passage, and I'm pretty sure you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know that much about that one, but I do know it's just like it's about your legal rights with the legal system with CFS. And then
that's live free.
That's living free. Okay, what's rites of passage?
Rites of passage is just the youth. They work with youth, any youth that are aging out of care, anything like that. They try help them just be ready for when they age out, making sure they have their IDs, they have all the proper supports that they need. So they do work with the youth.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. And then another one is this, I don't know the correct name because it's brand new. It's something about sisterhood. And so that one, it sounds like they're having, which, sorry?
Circle of sisters.
Yeah,
Circle of sisters.
Yeah, and then that one, it sounds like they're bringing guest speakers into the group and doing like little demonstrations. So that one sounds super interesting. And I think it's like kind of like a wellness, I think, as well for women's groups.
Yes, and I don't think that one is launched yet.
That one's not launched yet?
I don't think so.
Okay, they're just talking about it then.
It's in the development stages.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I heard there was one about someone being brought in maybe during the meeting, but maybe that's something else. What else is there? Well, there's our food as medicine, which is normally on Wednesdays, but it's been canceled until the lockdown is done, and we've only got a couple of more weeks of that.
We're saying it's postponed.
Okay, postponed. And then I'm not sure what else there is right now. In the future, there's going to be Alvin's group for grandparents.
The Minobimadazuin.
Yes. And oh yes, Travis's men's group on Thursdays, right? Doesn't Brittany do one too?
I think they do it together.
Okay.
Because they both start at 10 on Thursday, so they do their youth program in the evenings.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what they do with their youth. I wanted to show that I filled the second one, and I think it looks better than the first one. Because the first one, I kind of went to the side, and then I added those sideways beads. But then when I did this middle one, I just kind of went straight up the middle and added the side beads there. So it kind of looks like it goes around again.
Mm-hmm.
So even from further away, it looks better than the way this one looks. But as I'm going around, I'm just finding what looks better. Getting close to the end of my threads. When I get close to the end of my threads, I'm just going to tie them off in the back here, and I'm going to cut them off, and I'm going to start with brand new threads. That twice. I'm just going to cut it off. And I'm going to rethread my needles and start brand new. My threads are too small. Sometimes when I get really tired of when I used to get really tired of beading, I felt like that really old guy on Toy Story 2. That old man when he's like, oh, that needle when he's fixing Woody.
Yes, we'll call him the toy conservator. Or the toy restorer.
Yeah, that little old man. my double thread. I'm just gonna rethread it and put it back through my pellon. Where I'm gonna start. Just like how when I first started my petals, I'm just putting it back into the beginning of that petal there. To my other thread. I'm aching for a Wendy's salad.
A what?
Wendy's salad.
I know Tina would always get them and she'd like be shaking it forever and it would look so good.
Yeah, they have the best salads. Oh my God. And their drinks. Yesterday we went there and I asked for a small lemonade. My hubby's like, are you sure? I was like, do you know how big their mediums and larges are? Like, they're huge.
Yeah, they are huge.
And then we just got like, I think we got like, I got chicken strips, he got a burger, and I got like, mine was a meal. And he asked to upsize the fries, and like we didn't even finish the fries. We ate like half of them. And I was like, you should have just left them regular fries. Their portions are huge.
Oh, Wendy's is the best. We ordered sushi today from a new place. It was really yummy.
I've never eaten sushi before.
Really? Oh my
I'm like one of those people that if it's like it looks ugly, it's not touching my mouth.
Oh, I bet you there would be like some that you would love. There's like
it just has
there's like yam ones and they're sweet and crunchy. Super good. And then there's like even ones with chicken or bacon, if that's like more your style. There's tons of different types. And I really love sushi pizza. It sounds weird, but it's really good.
I'm gonna start tacking these ones down now. What time is it? 6:34. I think that after I'm done this, after the Zoom thing is done, I'm going to keep going and I'm going to finish this so that I can add a picture of it after. Yeah, I didn't like the way this first one looked, the way that that middle pieces looked. So I thought I'd try something different there. Because I don't know, whenever if you don't like it, you can always switch it up and try a different way, whichever way you think looks good for you.
So while there's another lull, I'll just remind people about our social media platforms. On Twitter, we are FNFAOMB. On Facebook, we are First Nations Family Advocate. On Instagram, we are FNFAO. And on our brand new, as of last week, TikTok, we are FNFAO as well. So feel free to subscribe to all of our channels, like, follow, do all the social media things, and then you can share all of our content with everybody that you know and increase awareness of what we're doing.
I wonder if we'll have to set up like an Etsy account for the stuff we make and put on our webpage.
Well, I think that we're working on getting our shop up and running, so that might be something that we do.
Yeah. How is that going to work? Like, are we going to be giving, like, if somebody, say, want to sell a pair of earrings for $40, how much is the office going to take, and how much do I make in a profit?
You would make $40.
Oh, really?
I think that it would be on a cost recovery basis for FNFAO. So it would be $40 plus whatever the shipping cost is. So if there's no shipping cost and it's like a local, so we're just dropping it off, then I think that we'd be able to justify just having it as $40. Or if it's like $6 shipping to Calgary, then we would it would be a $46. So we would take we would take the $6 for the shipping, and then the $40 would go back to the client.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yes.
I'm going to start making ribbon skirts. Just kidding.
Exactly. Yeah,
No, I'm not.
the idea is basically a consignment store, and yeah. Of course, the network bandwidth is low again. Yeah, so basically we're looking at a consignment store, and but unlike other consignment stores, we won't be taking a cut.
That's awesome. That's a great way to pitch and sell it.
Mhm. So we'll
It's
just have to see how it goes.
Sorry, that was mine. I was making sure I'm still on.
Yep. But that is still in the planning stages. So we're working on it.
Yeah, it's exciting at least. Because I had like one client and she was afraid to sell her stuff, and she's really shy, she was saying. So I was like, well, this is a perfect way for you to be able to sell your stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And yeah, the way that we would do it is we would have the items that are being sold in our office, so the clients won't have to worry about filling out shipping invoices or anything like that. We would ship it from our office to wherever, and they would get the money.
And it's like a huge safety thing too. Like, you don't want to be going to meet random people on the streets because you never know.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I know that in Winnipeg there are designated online drop-off areas, like on Portage, near Moray Street, I believe. There's a parking lot that has a number of different security cameras, and that has the signs saying this is a designated online shopping exchange. This place is monitored. So, but yeah, and I mean, if we're acting as the middleman between the client and the customer, then that works.
That's great.
I always even get nervous about those marketplace ones too sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah, I tried getting rid of my apartment on the marketplace, and it was just like a weird feeling. I felt like, because I'd had like my picture had like indigenous stuff on it. I felt like people might be racist and they wouldn't buy my, or like want to check it out. And so there was like a lot of people that actually said they liked it, but they never actually came through. I had more success through Kijiji than I did with the marketplace for selling my apartment. But I know, like, I love the marketplace for just anything really. Like, I got like my table and my chairs from it. My table's too tall, so I need to cut it, but it's still, I still love the marketplace and I miss it. It's the one thing I miss.
Me too. That's the one thing that I need to buy is some table and chairs. When I left my daughter's home, we had left her the table and chairs, but we had taken our couch and stuff like that. So I was like, we were like, you can have the couch, but I mean, you can have the table and chairs, but we take the couch.
Well, when my wife and I first moved here to Winnipeg, we had a kitchen table, but we didn't have any chairs. So, we found, it was basically two groups. So there was one group of 4 chairs and one that was 2. The 2 chairs we paid for, and I think we paid like $20 each, but the 4 chairs, they were free. And we found those on Kijiji in the free section, which was very cool.
So I see that my beads are a little tight there, and I had already stuck it down inside here. So you see it's kind of attached. So I'm just going to crack off an orange bead. I'm going to use my needle nose pliers. Make sure I close my eyes. I've cracked a bead before and it went flying like right at my eye. Gotta be carefully crack off a bead.
Did it just, you said it almost hit you in the eye?
Yeah, like when it cracked, it hit my eyelid and my eyes were open.
Oh,
You need safety goggles.
Okay.
You'll have to bring the face shield home from the office.
Yeah, cracking beads off. You're like, wait, I gotta get my face shield. Yeah, that little bead is trying to sit there crooked, so I'm gonna tack it down by itself.
Where did you move from, Chris?
Well, I'm originally from Ontario. So central Ontario, about an hour east of Toronto. And we moved here just about 5 years ago because my wife got a job.
Do you speak French?
Sorry?
Do you speak French?
Yes, I do.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So did you like the weather here? It's like always.
It's funny because people were saying, oh, you're going to die. It's so cold. It's winter peg. And the first winter that we were here was the mildest in 20 years. And then people were saying, oh, the bugs, they're going to carry Charlie away, Charlie the dog. And the first summer that we were here was the nicest that had been around in like 10 years with no bugs. And so we got really lucky that first year.
Oh, that's good.
Then all the other years.
Not too bad. Gotten used to it.
When you're used to it, doesn't bother you.
Yeah, it's just the norm.
we're almost like, I don't know, like Inuit, we're used to the cold.
Yeah, we don't know any different.
Yeah.
Well, when I first went to university, I went to Nipissing University in North Bay. So, I had experienced cold winters, and then went back down south, and the first couple of years, people were complaining about how cold it was, and I'm like, oh, you don't know cold. But now less so.
And isn't that like right off the Great Lakes there?
Yes, it is.
That- Okay. Is that like where that sleeping giant is? Or is that Thunder Bay?
That's Thunder Bay.
Okay. It's near there, I think.
North Bay is east of Sudbury.
Okay. I went somewhere over there and it was like the water was the most beautiful water. It was like I was in an ocean. It was so clear and you could walk out forever. I
Yeah.
don't know where
Sorry.
it was. It was like,
Yeah, sorry.
Oh.
North Bay is not on the Great Lakes. It's on Lake Nipissing.
okay.
Yeah. So
There. I don't
yeah, it's
know.
about an hour east of Sudbury.
Okay. This place that I went to, it was probably like an hour northwest of Niagara, and the water was gorgeous there. I don't know where it was or what lake it was, but I wish I knew.
Well, let's see. Niagara, as in Niagara Falls, or Niagara on the lake?
Niagara Falls.
Okay. So Niagara Falls is basically between Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. Northeast of that would be,
I mean northwest.
sorry, northwest would be up, I don't know.
I just know we like left on that busy highway for probably maybe like half an hour, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and then we turned left and we went west for like another like half an hour, 30 minutes. And we found like some secret little beautiful lake. Well, it wasn't really that secret because there was a lot of people there, but still it was like an ocean of beautiful water.
Yeah, that's one of the nice things about living in Ontario is there's a lot of lakes. But it's also part of the, not part of the problem, but it's one of the best things about where I lived was it was the rolling hills of Northumberland County. Unfortunately, the hills also meant that the cellular phone service was kind of spotty. So, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just looking at a map now. So Niagara Falls. Could be Lake Simcoe.
Maybe.
Mm.
I don't know. It just had the nicest water.
Or Lake Huron, maybe. Do you remember any of the place names?
No, it was a long time ago. It was like 7 years ago.
Oh, okay.
6 years ago. It was that road to Niagara. And then we did like a quick little pit stop.
Gesundheit. Gesundheit.
Let's see.
Like nobody's around.
No kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, so the moment it's just the three of us and the other Karen, whose camera is off. Who doesn't say much.
The mystery Karen.
Yeah.
For one skinny little bead. It's great and choose your beads. You're filling spots. Okay, so that's my second one I filled. Like there's a space there and I need to fill it. Right there. This is a good thing about seed beads is that you can pick and choose when you need to fill spots. There, I got 3 petals filled. And I think I'll finish the next couple. This one bugs me. One petal. But I think it looks better from further away than it does up close.
I think it looks pretty good.
Okay, so that's our thing for today because I noticed it's 3 minutes to 7.
Yep.
I just don't want to go over.
So I'll just remind people that those who are watching that you can find FNFAO on YouTube if you search for First Nations Family Advocate Office, and you can go through all our YouTube channels as well, and you can find us that way.
Great.
So,
Thank you.
yeah. So I will say good night and happy beading.
Yes. Good
And
night.
have a good long weekend.
Yeah. Woohoo.
Take care. Have a good long weekend.
Okay. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.